And this one is a competitive worker placement Euro game that is designed by Vital Lacerda. And if you're not familiar with Lacerda games, I should probably warn you that these can be quite heavy, quite complex, and have quite a lot of rules overhead. But the way that this game works is that each player is going to be trying to make their own impact on the world as inventors. Players are going to be trying to come up with different invention ideas by acquiring idea cards, and then they're going to be choosing a continent to make progress on that invention. Players will also be able to iterate on inventions that other players create in order to improve them, and these are all some different ways to gain victory points. Throughout the game, players will be gaining different skills and upgrades, as well as knowledge in the different fields of study that they'll all be tracking on their own player board. Players also have a whole bunch of different worker types that they'll be able to use in various ways in order to make progress on the different inventions. Players will be taking turns using these workers in order to take various actions out on the main board. Players could use an action to put an idea card out on the main map, and the way that this works is that there's a bunch of different areas around the perimeter of the map where you can put in these idea cards, with each of those locations being associated with a different continent. Each continent's also going to have randomized tokens that grant you different bonuses depending on the actions that you take there. So these various tokens and which ones most benefit you could dictate which area on the map you want to be putting your efforts in. You'll also want to be choosing which idea cards you want to put out on the board depending on the skills that they require in order to develop, because each player is going to be proficient in different skills, and putting different idea cards out does kind of set the trajectory of the game and determine what skills are going to be needed as the game develops. So you're going to be trying to put out the cards that most align with you. And of course, there are actions that you can take advantage of at all the different phases of an invention's life cycle. So you have the action to place a new idea, but then you also have actions to create that invention, share it with the world, as well as innovate and improve on it. Players can also use actions to gain knowledge in different fields in order to open up the possibilities of working on some other inventions. And those are the main actions in the game, but there are also actions that allow you to gain influence in the different regions of the world, as well as to move your workers around on the map or to recall them back into your supply. And these are all useful in different ways because anytime that you visit different regions of the world, that can actually gain you culture tokens that you'll be able to use to make different upgrades on your personal player board. But then also having a lot of presence in an area will allow you to interact with the representative of that region, which will essentially allow you to gain certain bonuses or bonus actions for being at that location. But the thing that I like most about this game, and the thing that I think makes it special compared to a lot of other worker placement games, is that in this game you're actually going to be gaining something called chain tokens, and you're going to be gaining more of these the more influence that you gain throughout the game. But essentially you're going to be gaining access to a number of these each and every round depending on your influence, and certain actions can be chained into other actions, and you're going to be spending those tokens in order to chain those together. Of course, this isn't always an option unless you're using an action that can actually be chained. But another interesting thing with this is that some of these action locations actually have bonus actions only associated with that specific space that are only unlockable if you spend a chain token. So not only can you chain different actions together, these chain tokens can actually unlock different actions and bonus actions that aren't available previously. But chaining actions together is always really fun, and trying to figure out the best way to optimize your actions to take advantage of that as much as possible while still completing the actions that you want to try to perform is always a great decision point in a lot of these Euro games. So I think this is a really cool aspect of the game, but at the end of each round, players will also be able to spend any of their money that they've accumulated so far in order to make progress on their different progress tiles that they've added to their own personal player board, and this will allow you to gain additional bonuses throughout the game. Of course, there is a ton more to this game that I'm sure I haven't explained, and probably a lot more that I'm not even aware of because, like I said, this is a Lacerda game, and these do tend to be quite crunchy. But if this one sounds interesting to you based on the info that I've provided so far, feel free to check out the campaign because I'm sure there'll be a lot more info in playthrough videos where you can find out all the nitty-gritty details. And of course, you can find links to the campaign in the description below.